Good morning, my owner operators. It is Christian with Voyager. How are you today, guys? It is Monday. Hold on one second, right here. Yep. All right. It is Monday, busiest day of the week. So I'm busy getting some guys out. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. For my people who are on, please like, share, subscribe. Today, actually, we're going to be talking about the breaking news that came in over the weekend, implementing or is taking in effect now. I'm sure everybody has heard about it with the non-domicile CDLs and what is going on with that. For those who are not aware, basically they have an emergency ruling where they are actually going to put a pause on issuing new licenses. And again, we're talking non-domicile and the permits. And the reason they're doing that is not to compound the current issue that's been happening. So basically what they're looking to do at the end of the day, the job of FMCSA is to reduce fatalities, reduce accidents, and keep the roads safer, which I do agree with, hands down. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I'm not just necessarily sure that this is due to just safety, and we're going to jump into why that is. Because a non-domicile means someone who's a permanent resident. You know, uh, and is this really more about immigration than actually safety? And we're just kind of mixing it all together. I know in the recent times there's been a lot of accidents that have been highlighted across social media, showing accidents across the board from, let's say, non-domicile, non-English speaking individuals, and then that could be problematic. But guys, accidents happen every day from domiciled people, and it's not making the news. What are we doing to address those situations? I get we have to start somewhere. So one of the things I definitely agree upon right here is the immediate pause of issuance of the non-domicile CDLs and CLPs until you can ensure compliance and new regulations. So part of that is to stop compounding the problem. So for us to fix a problem, we have to stop the compounding of it in order to have a chance. But I don't necessarily think that just because somebody has a non-domiciled CDL that in itself will make them unsafe. We have plenty of tools at our disposal that FMCSA actually has and has implemented that we could be looking at. So let's just start, for example, a PSP. For those guys who don't know, a PSP is like it's your personal score. Every time any individual gets out there as an owner operator, as a CDL driver, it doesn't really matter. If you have a commercial driver's license, you get put out of service by DOT, you get a violation, you're generating a PSP on yourself, and that PSP is gonna basically illustrate reportable accidents, violations, whether it's on the truck or yourself, anything related that has happened out there is going to be documented on that. And so when you go to get hired, people are reviewing this PSP, and then they're going to deem it whether they can or cannot hire you. So the name of the game is going to be the carrier should not be hiring somebody negligently. So let me explain. Guys, just last week I actually had an individual who applied, and he had 3 accidents within the last 36 months, a couple violations on his PSP, and the cherry on top is he's currently suspended for not paying one of the violations associated with one of the accidents. So who's stopping him? There's probably a non-domicile driver out there, or know plenty of them, let's say 8 years in the game, accident free, never done any kind of harm like that. So at what point, why do we have a PSP? If this is about safety, if a PSP is actually going to tell you the behavior of an owner operator or the behavior of a company driver, the behavior of a driver in itself, what this individual does on the day in and day out, why not use that resource? And I'm curious to say, why don't they start there as well? If we're talking about safety and pulling people off the road, why wouldn't that measuring system be used as a tool to identify these guys and start pulling those? So what do you guys think out there? Have you guys heard about this new ruling? I know they have. It was so new over the weekend they didn't even start publicating the literature on it. So that should be coming out sometime today. But again, what are you guys thinking out there? Uh, do you think this is going to actually improve the safety out there on the road, or is this just another hype and is just a hidden agenda to this topic? Because there are plenty of non-domiciled CDL guys who the major problem is this. So let's say their immigration paperwork is due to expire in a year. Well, when you get a Florida CDL, let's say that Florida CDL is valid for past that expiration date. So now they're saying that guy is no longer qualified after that expiration date. And so that is the biggest problem that they're actually going to be looking at. So I know they're not going to be issuing newer ones. I know state agencies are going to be held to it where now they cannot issue the license past that date. It's going to have to be when it expires or for a year, whichever is less. So based on that type of documentation, what happens to the current guys that are actually in the system who and are doing well? I mean, think about it. There's so many people that are actually doing good out there that everything is going to be turned upside down from them. So they're nothing but safe, no violations. They actually have companies. They're doing very well for themselves. And now all they really did is at the time they took advantage of a current I don't want to say loophole, but they filled out their paperwork. Everybody just filled out their paperwork properly, and then they were actually issued that CDL based on what documentation they provided. Now, just because we have a change, all of a sudden that could get revoked, and they're going to sweep the rug up under them. So again, guys, I'm looking at this from a point of safety because that's the only way it would pertain to trucking. And in that, I'm a high believer that we have, we got motor vehicle records that we could be looking at, right? But again, if this is about safety, remember, even if we have a guy with a speeding ticket, with a lane violation, and he has points that he's no one's willing to hire this guy, we still allow a traffic lawyer to, he pays some money, disputes the charges. And once he's disputing these charges, what's going to happen is they're going to he's going to plea out, and those violations are going to change. He's not going to have the similar amount of points, and we allow the scope of who he is to change because he had a little bit of money for the for the safety viewing of it. So man, I don't know. I just I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Please like, share, subscribe, put your comments up. Do you think that this is going to help or is this going to hurt? There's several ways to look at it. Again, I'm definitely viewing this from the point of safety. There are hey, good morning, Ernie. How you doing, brother, man? All right. Could they say it is for safety, but really they're trying to get trucks off the road and make it better? Yeah, client. Yeah, I guess. But at the end of the day, like again, like I believe that the role of safety of FMCSA is to make the streets better, right? To make minimize fatalities, minimize accidents, and so forth. So I just think it's approach, man. I think when social media grabs things, I just think like freedom of thought for all of us. Let's go back to the basics of just like common sense to everything, because when we're talking about this, who's going to be in compliant, we're talking about visas, residents, H2As, H2Bs, E2. What does that got to do with safety? Right? What does that have to do with safety? So I'm looking at the current guys who have been currently enrolled. Why not just look at it and do the audit, right? From a safety standpoint, use the resource we have. So PSPs, motor vehicle records, right? Why, those are true stories of what that guy's behavior looks like. Those are true stories of what he's out there. It's kind of like what I just shared like 2 weeks ago, the guy with multiple accidents and his license is suspended. So my dude doesn't even know that he's suspended and he's applying. So that tells you of a world about him and his self-awareness. Can it be a fluke? Yeah, maybe, but I mean, that's your livelihood. That is that is how you make your money. So I mean, if anybody should know that he is suspended, should it not be him? Right? So that is one of the most important pieces to it, right? That self awareness. So again, guys, put your comments up, like, share, subscribe. Helps the algorithm get these videos in front of the right people. And again, what we're talking today is actually this non-domicile CDL issue that's pretty much going viral out there, where the immediate ruling is all states will stop today. And how do they get the states to comply? They're going to stop giving them funding for the highways, right? And so now they're gonna go do that again. But we go back to, is this about safety, or is this about just a different agenda looking to get something else accomplished? What do you guys think? Put it in the notes. And people it is out there that people are thinking is gonna make a benefit getting these drivers off the road. I just want to say, like, realistically, even if you have an estimated 200,000 non-domicile CDL holders, like, these guys are not disappearing overnight. So one thing that they're going to do is stop the bleeding, obviously. So they're going to put a pause on anybody getting this. So those guys aren't going to be entering the market. All right, so you're slowing that down for sure. And then on the other hand, the current guys, if we have to wait for them to expire, uh, Sam Motors said, "Isn't America great already? Less trucks, higher prices." Yeah, yeah. So these guys that are going to be expiring, um, you know, it's not just, man, the freedom of thought. Like, forgive me, man, I get passionate about shit like this because one of the things is, like, we just have, like, sometimes, like, this mob mentality and the way social media puts it up there for everybody as if this is some great deed just to improve safety, when we have other actual tools at our disposal that FMCSA can actually pull people's CDLs. I mean, currently now, the threshold to pull someone's CDL, like, what has to happen? How many people have to get hurt before FMCSA actually pulls the privilege of a motor vehicle, of a CDL holder? Like, how much has to go wrong? Because I have come across, as a recruiter, as hiring people, as being within compliance and building driver files, I have come across crazy ass files and they still have their CDLs. So, what's the angle? So does anybody even know somebody that's ever that their CDL has been pulled? I don't know. Sam Motors, you know anybody? So I'm just curious on that. All right, so here we go. So actually, and what are your thoughts, guys? Please put them up in the comments. And again, I'm very curious to see where, like, are they now going to go hunt the guys that are actually currently holding non-domiciled licenses, and who aren't due to expire anytime soon? Are they going to reevaluate their file, and if they're not compliant within the new rule, are they going to get revoked? And anybody have to go get that reissue? So it's the same thing as, like, even the EOP, right? Everybody wants to talk about that, but there is a better way to do business, in my opinion. Like, I mean, the only way those guys got that CDL, again, is because the state that provided that individual the CDL was offering tests in any type of language they wanted. You pick your flavor: Spanish, Chinese, whatever you wanted. So the state level was offering those CDLs. Um, so I think the best way to combat that is to make sure at that point of issuance they can pass an ELP, right? Why give him that license if he can't pass that? Um, you know, uh, and then we want to pass the burden of rectifying that onto the people who got one, are making a very good living and decent and are safe, right? I'm just saying, let's go to the facts. I'm not, it shouldn't matter. uh if you were able to get that, to get unsafe people off the road, what does their immigration status have to do with safety? Why not look at their motor vehicle record, their PSP? As a matter of fact, DOT has a copy of that. So you can actually identify and let the state know which guys you want off the road. But instead, we deem that to a carrier, we deem that to somebody else to say, hey, negligent hiring. And again, we're playing this blame game, and we're pointing fingers when the facts are right in front of you. Like, there's nowhere to go. Just think about it, guys. Like, this is only done because there's a higher agenda and somebody wants to push it. And while they're pushing this, that's when shit gets done, right? It's crazy, because if it was about safety, an unsafe driver, non-domicile license doesn't mean just an unsafe driver. There are plenty of people who are domicile drivers that are being unsafe out there. I got a comment here. It says it's going to affect a lot of good people, a lot of bad people, and everyone in between. And that's exactly right. And then that's what's going to happen. So again, client said it before, like, we're looking to get trucks off the road. The system is broken. That is why they got their license to begin with. Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Why do we just have like selective amnesia to forget how they got their license? Because it's so much easier to blame somebody else. The idea behind it is, again, the audit found systemic non-compliance across all these states. And that's where your real problem began, in the foundation of it. So again, guys, what do you think? Is this a good idea? Is this going to improve the rates? Is this not? Please put that up in the comments. Let's talk about that. Again, it's your boy Christian with Voyager. We do this at 9 o'clock every morning. Today is Monday, busiest day of the week. So hopefully you are already on a load and getting unloaded. So I hope your dispatcher got you moving. If that is not the case, 863-342-5171. And I also want to bring up a measuring system, right? So let's say anybody who's a carrier out there or anything like that, right? Everybody got some guidelines from their insurance company. And nowhere have I seen ever in those guidelines mention, non-domiciled or domiciled license, whether they can or cannot get approved. And why do you think that is? Probably because it's not a good measuring system about safety. So guys may have they may say, let me read these bad boys out to you just so you see. All right, so they're even willing to tell you no major violations in the last 60 months, driving suspended while revoked, DUIs, possession, hit and run, homicide with MV, participating in racing, reckless driving, wrong way, highway, at-fault accident with a fatality, minor violation, speeding, one accident at fault, failure to yield, red light, careless driving. And then an insurance company can actually go on and to give you like a breakdown, right? Because shit happens out there. It doesn't mean this guy's a totally bad guy, but it'll give you some breakdown that the underwriters are going to look at and whether approved there. But yeah, I've never seen in this laundry list of things that are deemed minor violations and acceptable major violations. No one talks about domiciled and not domiciled. So how is that improving safety? So again, unless I'm wrong, anybody out there ever had an insurance company decline onboarding one of your drivers because it was a non-domicile driver? Let me know. Put it up in the comments. What is this really about? All right. So hey, good morning, David. How you doing today, brother, man? All right. So again, guys, I wish we can have a different approach of if the journey is really to improve safety out there and to improve and make the streets a lot safer. Because even the guys that had those accidents, I haven't been privy to their motor vehicle records or their PSPs or anything like that. However, all of those things that conveniently made the news. and conveniently got pushed in the algorithm and in front of everybody's face and became this national phenomenon. You know, I bet you if we look at a PSP or we look at an MVR, we're going to see a history of it, and yet no one did anything. So it doesn't mean that just because he's a non-domicile that happened. All these things happened on his motor vehicle. There were so many signs that if DOT wanted to, they could have pulled that a long time ago. But again, what is the approach? And how soon do you think we're going to actually start seeing these rates improve, and at what cost? So guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think, for those first-time owner operators who are looking to purchase a truck and link up with a carrier that has the benefits and the perks that benefit you and your business so you can scale. Please give us a call at 863-342-5171. And please like, share, subscribe, smash that like button. It helps the algorithm get this content in front of the right people. And also, please subscribe. It will notify you when we drop gems just like this. All right, guys. Let's talk about that damage that this bad boy is going to cause to the good people that are out there actually doing what they're supposed to and keeping clean CDLs. Actually, having everything in place and having the right tools. So I just think that this one silver bullet that they call it isn't going to fix as much as they think it's going to fix. And even so, guys, I mean, they're just hyping everybody up. I don't think. And what's your opinion, guys? Do you think 200,000 people are just going to vanish off the capacity list by Wednesday, or is this going to take time? Is this going to take so much time? Are we even going to feel the difference? Good morning, lone drifter. Here we go, man. Good morning, sir. How are you? All right, guys. So put it up in the comments. Let us know how you feeling about this. Is this even about safety, or what is this actually about? And do you think that this will improve the rates? I mean, supply and demand tells you it will be. I just don't know, man. I just think like they're hyping up how many people are going to be exiting the industry. It's not going to happen overnight. I think for us to see like a major bump, you would have to see this like completely happen overnight. But that's, there's a lot of good people that could get hurt with something like this, and because we have shitty checks and balances. A lot of these people just actually used the network, the services provided, and it is at a state level that they allowed him to get a CDL. And what they did is just use that as an opportunity to build a reputable big company, or whatever it is to them, 1 truck, 2 truck, 3 truck, 10 truck. It doesn't, the size of it doesn't matter. But if they've been safe, they've been audited, everything is good, then what does this have to do with that? How is that going to improve the safety? So it's just kind of paying attention to all that. All right, got Ernie. It has to do nothing with safety, but unfortunately, this government is out to control. I would start with safety record first, take those off the road. Amen to that. And that's kind of my approach too. Like I would say, all you got to do is already just like hit check that safety, the PSP. Why? Because that is documentation and facts that they have collected along the way. They have been the ones making the stops. They are well aware of those drivers. And even for that, man, like I think, when these guys come slinging for an audit because a carrier has been unsafe, and you have a few alerts, part of the biggest problem part of the biggest problem is, I don't think enough. I don't know if enough CDL holders are getting it, just like the carrier. Meaning, right? We get the violations, a carrier is getting the points and all that. I'm just saying we should all be in a room. right? Because you only get an alert because it was a combined effort, if you will. It wasn't just the carrier that got there. You know, so so bringing light to that to an unsafe driver, I think would make a difference. You know, but he goes, you know, I wonder, out of those horrific PSPs that I've ever seen, I'm talking pages. I mean, seen them, like a couple pages of a PSP. Not once has anybody told me, "Hey, DOT called me and was like, hey, you better watch it," or any of that. So if they've never been contacted for that, all DOT did was uh, give that responsibility to a carrier or just kind of offset that. If they've never been contacted, they think that those audits are a myth. They think that no one is really looking. They think it's not real because they've never had to cut a check for a violation. So it's, you know, even as a carrier, when you're telling them about safety, you're telling them about audits, and you're telling them about everything that comes and what insurances are looking for, what they deem acceptable, what they don't, disqualifying drivers and all of that, then they think it's a myth because they've never gone through it, right? So here we go, guys. Like that's what I'm saying. So if this is really about safety, I'm not saying we don't do this. I'm just saying we have a different approach. I'm just saying we have a realistic, tangible approach to view things, because there are many ways to identify if somebody is safe or not. Other than that, this has nothing to do with that. All right, so I got a comment. Let's be real. Suspending non-domicile CDLs isn't going to improve safety. Safety has almost nothing to do with this. Sure, hiring drivers who can't read road is negligence. No argument there. And agreed. No one's saying about that. Again, there's been a systemic non-compliance issues there. But again, not everybody who can't read it, like not every one of those guys has had an accident. You know, some guys have gone years of operating within that. So here we go. All right, but flipping people's lives overnight under the label of safety, that's just fucked up. And then that's my point. And I agree to that, guys. Like that is. I mean, I guess we would all feel more comfortable if we call a spade, right? Like this is not about safety. This is not about that. There's plenty of people who could read, write English, no problem. Um, who are breaking shit, fucking shit up. Uh, so I got a comment here. A CDL should be like a business license. Your road, your record, your responsibility. Yeah, for sure. And kind of it is, uh, or it's sold that way a little bit. But then what happens when you start to roll? You know, you start to get out there. So for example, guys, like hear me out. Yeah, I've been doing this shit a long time. Do you know how many guys who have a CDL think it is the responsibility of the carrier to pay for their DOT physical? Why? That's your business license. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you? And also, if you're the CDL holder, why are you relying on somebody to pay for something to keep your business license in check? So just in that, it is broken. I think these schools, like these big boy box, box cutter schools, like, just kind of downplay the responsibility that comes with holding a CDL license, and don't really talk about it. I think I'm in agreement. I know I'm in agreement with Mike. It should be held like a business license. You know, if a guy is getting put out of service because of multiple infractions, because like let's say that cowboy got actually like 60 points to the carrier, all right, and himself, like why is it just like do a 10, I'll come back? Why is not something done right there? Why isn't his violation handed right there? Why, like, so if we're serious about this, why isn't his CDL suspended for multiple infractions? And again, for a lot of my people who are on here and have never since seen some of these PSPs, I'm talking pages of shit, and nothing, a bunch of nothingness. So you might get a guy who's non-domiciled and now he's off the road. Congratulations, but this guy is not. So how are we any safer? And again, guys, who thinks that there were no other accidents other than those last three that hit the social media? Nothing else happened. There was no more accidents, just those. Everything else, problem has been solved. So it's what we choose to highlight. It's man, it's mob mentality. It's pushing an agenda with the carrot of something different. You know, a lot of us are fixated on will these rates improve because of something like this, and I get it. That's a that's a juicy carrot to flash in front of other people. But again, at what cost? I think I'm saying that, yeah, safety should be top. It should be on the forefront. But this is not, in my opinion, this isn't a good way to solve a problem. I do like that the states are now responsible. I do like the thought of, okay, so if we're going to agree to something, make these roads safer, let's do that. We should be doing EOPs. I got a comment, Christian. We have drivers that don't have a clue that CSA exists. Yeah, yeah, and then I think like I think that's the problem. I think we downplay the responsibility. I think part of that should also be taught to people in that school. Like, what is a CSA and how did it affect you? What makes you hireable? What is going to scare some carriers off? What do our insurance? What does an insurance? You know, what are typical insurance guidelines? You know, often I do get the question where, you know, people will call in and just say like, hey man, you know, what are your insurance requirements? You know, and it's easier now. My always response guy, anybody whoever I talk to is like, what are you worried about? Why ask that question? What's your concern? I'll let you know if I could make something happen or not. Because let's just get to the point, right? Why do I gotta go run MVRs and do all this and PSPs and spend some money only to find out you got that DUI, you know, 24 months ago that you don't want to talk about? Like, let's just put it out there. We're talking about it. We're handling it. It's just business. I cannot feel bad. I cannot apologize because I didn't give you the drink to go drive. So it's none of that. I get it. Shit happens. Cool, but we made some choices. All right. I believe in second chances. Yeah, for sure. But I'm governed that until it's 60 months later, I can't touch that guy. And when 60 months go by, I probably, you know, if everything else lines up, why not? But it's part of that regulation. So again, guys, a lot of this stuff is already identified by FMCSA. Why are we acting like it's like brand new news? It's just the way it's presented. I guess got me in a bind. But anyway, guys, how do you feel? Is this actually going to help? What do you think? Good idea, bad idea? Put it up in the comments. You know, please like, share, subscribe. It helps get this content in front of the right people. But as this is going down, obviously we stay busy. We actually have an orientation, so that's always a good thing to get done on a Monday morning. And so if you're actually in the market to purchase your own truck and you're looking to get started as an owner operator, the time is always now. That's what we preach. Please give us a call at 863-342-5171. Get all the details and learn about the perks and what we have to offer so that you can scale your business and hit the next level. All right, guys, like, share, subscribe, smash that like button. And so here we go, guys. All right. So let us know, guys, in the comments. What do you think? Are there better tools to measure things? Are there better tools to measure systems? One of the things I have noticed is like, so for example, back in the day on a PSP, when you would change a violation because you data queued it, it would just change. But now I noticed in the recent year or so that it actually would tell you the new violation, but that it was changed due to, you know, it was something else, and that it actually changed. So before it would just change without notifying you. So any new carrier actually onboarding you wouldn't see that ticket. And then what's going to happen is now it tells you the new violation. However, it'll tell you that it was changed from its original violation. So, and again, it's just kind of highlighting what happened, and again, it's giving people accessibility to change things. It's creating a network amongst lawyers. It's kind of playing this game so this thing can exist, right? And so here we go. All right, have a comment here. They say 60 to 200,000 non-domicile CDLs are out there. What happens to the freight market when all those get yanked overnight? Rates or just chaos? Rates up or just chaos? I think supply and demand. Supply and demand. Rates will probably spike. Get yanked overnight. But again, man, like that's a big hit, man. So I would say rates are gonna spike. But I wonder too, like, right, the concentration of the non-domicile, just like anything else, what part of the country is that going to hit the most? And even in the implementation of this, I don't know, I want to check it out, man. I wonder if some states are going to be quicker to get to the start line, quicker to get to the point and start making changes, or than others. So I'm interested to see what Florida does, because again, if they're going to be audited, their current non-domiciled guys, what kind of opportunity are they giving them to kind of reel it in? Because if shit is going to hit the fan, man, um, you know, can this actually be done overnight like that? Uh, I think it's going to be both chaos and rates. But again, like, to the comment before, like, there's a lot of good companies out there, or good drivers providing good service. You know, Safety, meet every other criteria in there, and it's probably better than a domicile driver getting pulled off the road. So again, not only is it capacity that you're losing, you're also losing caliber of individuals. You're losing good service providers as well. So at the end of the day, careful what you ask for, because there are in that number some quality, very well, safe drivers who do a hell of a job day in and day out, who know exactly what it takes to be trucking. And just kind of ripping that out of the market is, it also unleashes something different. So again, so here we go, guys. Man, interesting times for real. All right. All right. So, guys, remember, we are 100% owner operator based company. For those guys out there looking for that opportunity to leverage and scale with a carrier that knows exactly what it takes to be successful, please do not hesitate to give us a call. It is 863-342-5171. And for my first time owner operators who are looking to jump into the business, definitely give us a call at 863-342-5171. We're here to help out. Any kind of questions you may have regarding making that first purchase, please give us a call. All right, so we got Melvin. Yes, might be an opportunity to buy some trucks. Here you go. It's everything in this industry. Welcome to capitalism, right? So things go up, things go down. So that might be that opportunity, but rates maybe. But yeah, I agree with Mike too. That's going to wreck mortgages, wallets, economy. All of that good stuff is going to definitely be affected. It's just insanity, man, that they could do it that way. I really wish that we were more level-headed than that as a whole, where we can view something, and not even creating the system, man. We already have it. We already have PSPs. We got MVRs. We got mandated VOEs, verification of employment statuses. You got third-party people like on the DAC report. We have so many platforms to hold each other accountable, and we can't even go view it to do this systematically, right? If this was truly about safety, but here you go, guys. Like, there's a lot of changes. I believe, like, this is definitely going to change some stuff up. Guys, put that in the comments. What do you think? So I got a question. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, for sure. We should make changes moving forward, not backwards. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I am in agreement with what they did right here. And they said, immediately pause issuance of non-domicile CDL CLPs until they ensure the compliance with the new regulations. Perfect. You're not hurting the guys who are already in existence, right? Because even if this is going to go to shit, at least you're giving an opportunity. So let's say a guy doesn't have to renew in another 3 to 4 years. At least there's a place to get things in order, whether it's to become compliant with the new rule or your exit plan, whatever the case may be. But at least you have some time, and that rug isn't swept up underneath that person in such a violent way, and freaking destroy everything the individual has built. Um, and then, but again, they're going to identify currently valid non-domicile CDLs that are not in compliant under the new rule, revoke and reissue them if the holders are eligible for new rules. That's where the problem comes in. What is being done. So here we go, guys. I got a comment. Also, how are you guys seeing the market as a carrier? Are the rates getting better for you guys? Yeah, our guys are out there, man. Definitely, for sure. And then that's one of the things we preach. It's always push forward. And yeah, actually, they have. Yeah, imagine, I got Mike here. Imagine you just bought a house and next day your CDL is suspended. Yeah, yep. All that happens, man. I actually had a buddy of mine buy a second home, doing well. He's in the port industry, and literally closing like right around the same time of the fucking tariffs and all that, before the 90 days. And so the guy shits himself, and like, here you go. Everything that he was building off of some rule could turn his world upside down. um this is who pays. This is who pays: the people in the trenches, the people doing the work, us as a trucking community. It's us who pay, man. And again, we're all about safety. Once again, we're just trying to make that very clear. There's just a better way to go about it, in my opinion. I think we have other tools that we can focus on that would really identify safety. So regardless, if you identified an unsafe driver because of way too many violations on the individual's PSP, regardless if he's non-domicile, domicile, none of that shit would matter. You're identifying them via the right channels, so he's unsafe because you stopped him, you caught him on violations. It's been, he's time and time again. And so because of that, here we go. As a matter of fact, like, some of my guys that are out there, have you ever noticed, like, because you can get a lawyer, change a violation, data queue it, yada yada, they started giving warnings, right? So now they give warnings in order, because you can't fight a warning. So you can't have a warning get changed. So the warning will stay there. So imagine that. That just kind of tells you it's already broken. That already tells you that they identified a situation where they could lawyer up. Make those changes, and then it'll reflect differently on the data queue, and then it will reflect differently. But rather than addressing it, we put a Band-Aid, and the Band-Aid would start handing out. We start handing out warnings to everybody. So that way they can't fight it, they can't take it off, and it stays there. But there's an overall bigger problem. Again, like, that's another major violation. So maybe it's about viewing the visibility of it. Maybe it's about actually pulling guys, actually taking a lot more CDLs and revoking them than you actually are. Who audits them? Who audits those guys? In doing so. So again, guys, let us know in your comments. What do you think? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this chaos? Is this gonna, obviously removing a large amount of capacity from the industry will have an impact. Guys, if you are an owner operator looking for a better opportunity, 863-342-5171. So here we go. I got Ernie in the comments. They are saying trucks are getting hit with a 25% tariff increase. Have you heard any? Nah, not yet, Ernie. Actually, I have not. I haven't heard of that just yet. So at least none of my guys have. Is that something has anybody out there, guys? Anybody heard of guys getting a 25% tariff increase on those trucks? It's going to be interesting because even that, you're going to have that amount of, let's say they do pull all these guys overnight. That's a lot of trucks that become available to the market, provided, I don't know how many of those 200,000 are company drivers or how many are owner operators and actually own a truck. But yeah, so I mean, even with the ELP, uh, I've seen guys already exit the industry and sold his truck at a obviously it's nobody's wanting to lend money, especially in transportation and all that. So the guy made a sale to kind of a sale to a friend of his and pay me as you go, because what was his other option? He's not even here anymore. He just decided to retire early. But again, due to successful owner operator for many years, knew just enough to get through in the business, in the industry. Plenty of shippers and receivers could communicate accordingly. No major violations. And the guy was just a trucker, man, like very successful in that regard, but can't quite pass, let's say, just that English proficiency test that they're willing to give out. But knew enough to get by, man, for a decade, and did very well for himself. But I guess he checked the temperature that's out there, and that's a good caliber individual who had to exit the industry, right? And so here you go, Not everything has cause and effect. There is collateral damage to a lot of decisions that we make as a whole, and I think there's going to be a lot of collateral damage to this one, and not necessarily make things any safer. And again, that's my opinion. What is yours? Put it up in the comments. Please give us a call if you are an owner operator, 863-342-5171. And we'll go right to the comments. It's a good reminder for everyone beating around the bush. Make money while you have a chance, because nothing is guaranteed forever. I always say that during podcasts. I will say it one more time. And definitely agree on that, guys. We get those questions all the time. What do you do in a bad market? How do you stay afloat? Well, the idea is you save as much as you can when the market is in your favor. Stack those chips, because you will need them. You will need them for those rough times. So you want to get through the winters by putting on some fat during really good times. And that is the name of the game. As always, trucking, nothing is forever. Dedicated accounts go away, rates up and down, and just even the minute you think you solved the puzzle, somebody throws a wrench in, and now you have to readjust. Welcome to trucking. I bet you get a few years out of something, and then things will change. So always, there you go. Never stay complacent. Always stay winning. Always stay adjusting. That way you come out on top. All right, guys. All right. So today's so interesting times for all of us. Interesting times. And then like on a sidebar, man, like I don't know, man, with today's technology and all of that, like I get you. I bet you're gonna see like automation, like self-driving trucks and all that, trying to make this industry more automated. Uh Man, you're gonna have people throwing in tons of cash into that because of problems like this. And careful what we ask for. People are going to look to streamline this process. This does cause disruption into shippers and receivers and customers and sales, disruptions that nobody wants. That's the other side of this coin, man. Like that forces the hands of others to look for alternatives. It's just kind of like I said, what if there's a company right now, 10 trucks, 15 trucks, and half his fleet is non-domicile? That's half his business gone, like completely gone overnight. What does that customer do? You think he's going to wait for that person to rebound? No, that motherfucker gone too. So he's going to go find somebody that can do it. So again, guys, collateral damage all over the place. On surface levels, it sounds sweet that rates will go up, but there is a lot of chaos that would come with this, and only time will tell. Only time's going to tell on this one. All right, my people, that is my show for today. So keep this on the forefront. We'll keep you updated. We'll probably do a full podcast about this one. Just to kind of, I'm sure something went to print already, and we can read it and digest it a little bit and bring it to you on a podcast. So I'll make sure that gets done. Other than that, guys, please drive safe, be safe. I got to get to my day job. A pretty busy day today, and I hope you're busy as well. Make sure you're trucking, earning. Get out there, go get it. And here we go, guys. It's Monday. It's showtime. All right, guys. So hopefully you were pre-booked on Friday. And if that wasn't the scenario, 863-342-5171. Do not hesitate to call. And if you are looking to buy a truck and start your owner-operator business, the time is always now. Don't let none of this shit scare you. 863-342-5171. Make sure you go get yours. All right, guys. Give us a call, level up, scale your business. Let's go. All right, guys, be safe.